So this was a south wind day. I ended up launching from the south side, and in the beginning I had a little bit of trouble catching anything consistent, anything that I could actually turn and soar in. At one point I tried to track more out front to hope to catch a thermal there, but it was pretty minimal. So I spent quite a bit of time looking around and trying to find the lift. Eventually, I was able to find one and be able to get over the peak. Rick was there thermaling with me, and pretty soon I made the move to go on a glide over Mount Galbraith. Mount Galbraith seemed to work really well today. It was facing both the sun and the wind, and I got a boomer thermal that took me to 9600, and I was able to go on a long glide downwind towards Ralston Buttes. I kind of ended up taking this deeper line, but it seemed to be quite good and lifty line, so I wasn't losing that much altitude, and I was almost able to push on a glide all the way to Ralston. As I was approaching Ralston Buttes, my plan was to go over the southeast side, east corner, the white corner, hoping I can catch some strong lift over there. As I flew towards it, I noticed some beeps on the west side of the buttes, and they weren't very strong, but seemed like there were some lift on that side as well. Once I flew over the east side, southeast side, I noticed there was absolutely no lift. Thus, I quickly turned around back to the west side of the buttes to really try to work the lift that I was feeling earlier. Interestingly, there was a pilot that flew over Ralston Buttes not very shortly before, and he ended up landing right by the buttes over there. I was able to make it work eventually. It was really light. I was just going maybe 0.1, 0.2 meters a second, but eventually I was able to get over the buttes and catch the slope and the heating side of the buttes, and found something quite strong and consistent there. This was a good thermal that took me over 10,000 feet, and I was pretty confident that I'll be able to make Coal Creek Peak with these winds on a glide. There was also Rick, another paraglider pilot in the air at the same time. We're kind of flying pretty close together. And this area was actually working quite well, so I think I could have continued from here onwards quite easily to Boulder. However, unfortunately, I had some errands and I had to head home early, so I turned around at this point and then tried to make my way back south. Now, as I was tracking into wind, obviously I wasn't getting so good glides, and so I had to work a little bit more for the thermals. This hill over here seemed to generate not super strong, but enough for me to get enough height to cross over Del Ralston again. I was hoping to catch some thermals there and continue onwards. At this point I was quite in a hurry to get back, and so I wasn't taking all the climbs that I could get, and that eventually cost me the flight. Here I'm again overflying that same area, trying to take a little bit liftier line over the hogback, and it's sort of working. There's some lift over the hills as well. It's not very strong, pretty light bubbles here and there. I think I could have worked those more. I end up going over the White Ranch, and here it's really hard to find any lift. It's pretty scratchy. I think at this point of the day it could have been possible if I was patient enough to just keep working it and eventually catch a thermal. However, I was not, and I really needed to go, so I ended up just landing right there. Some reflections of the day. For me, it seemed like a really nice day. It seemed to be working. I think I could have made to Boulder and possibly back if I had all the time in a day and was able to be patient. I think I was making pretty good progress going back from Coal Creek, and I think I made maybe a tactical mistake when I was flying back or going over the White Ranch, rather than trying to work the lift that I was kind of feeling earlier. I think I might have caught the thermal earlier before, and so could have skipped the White Ranch area because it's pretty shallow. Uh, I always end up wondering. It took me quite long to escape from the hill in the beginning, and um, and so I end up wondering if I should have just pushed more out front, but I kind of did. Once I got a little bit higher, I tried pushing out front and hoping to find a more straight thermal, but I wasn't high enough really to go really further over the residential area, so I turned around. Overall, it was a nice flight considering how much time I had and the conditions of the day.